Today's video is sponsored by Unspun, a certified B Corp building ultra-sustainable and custom-built jeans from 3D iPhone scans. Sign up as a beta tester today and get a $40 gift card towards your first pair of jeans in exchange for your feedback and advice.
I love a utilitarian vehicle. My Morris Minor has like 2 switches inside. It is perfectly simple. And there's one thing that I also love. That's pickup trucks, because they are so utilitarian.
They are practical, they are awesome, and I know you and I have both lusted after Morris Minor pickups. In fact, there was one in the town that I now live in that was there for about 2 years, and then it sold one day, just as I'd plucked up enough courage to actually go down and make an offer on it. Sad face. But that's okay, because Ford has turned its #1 pickup, in fact, America's best-selling pickup, for nearly 40 years into an electric vehicle. And when that happened, I have to admit, I was sold. So much so that I bought one, an F-150 Lightning Lariat. It was, to me, the perfect mix of highway-capable pickup truck and ability to carry things. But this is that truck's more expensive sibling.
Yeah, this is the Platinum.
We're going to take a look around it today. We're going to show you our thoughts on all of those luxury high-end features. And then later we will take it out on the road and decide whether it's actually a practical work truck
or a luxury toy. Up front on the F-150 Lightning, the first thing you're going to notice is this slab-like front end. It cuts through the air in just the way that bricks don't and leads to the awesome efficiency figures we'll talk about in the drive review. But you do get these LED projector headlamps as standard in all trim levels, and this light bar in everything but the Pro trim. Everything that means the XLT, the Lariat and the Platinum that this is in its glistening sparkly blue. Down at the front here there is a little camera hiding away under the badge, and just next to it is a little sprayer to keep it clean, which is actually a really nice touch. And then below that you have your 8.6 inches or roughly 213 mil of ground clearance, which, given the height and size of this vehicle, which will keep me gainfully employed for a very long time, doesn't seem as much as I would like. This massive front end, which some have erroneously suggested might be related to it being an F-150 gasoline hangover, it's not. It is, however, cavernous storage, 14.1 cubic feet or about 400 litres. This variant has a beautiful electric lift, as do all of them, and then in here you get 120 volts in 4 separate outlets, as well as 2 delightful little USBs, which you'd think would be great for charging things. Maybe you throw them in here when you pop into the store, but no, the power only comes on when the truck is on, so yeah, maybe not quite as well thought out as you'd like. Should you be kidnapped, there is a button in here to allow you to release this and then escape, which is always very handy. It glows green, and don't ask me how I know that. Under the floor here, if you've seen any of Ford's promotional materials, you'll know there is a drain plug, so you can fill this cavernous area with beers and sodas when you're having your party at the beach. Definitely what this truck is really for. And then at the back, you have access for the 12-volt battery. As you can see, it's one hell of a reach, and this truck came to us filthy. If you do need to replace it, it is a pretty small battery, but it is going to be pretty tricky to wedge your way in there. If you want to, there are jump lead attachments over here, but frankly, it's just easier to get to the back of the Frunk. On the right-hand side here, under the hood, there is a filler cap for the screen wash, and there is also this whip aerial at the front end, which some people have complained about, and it does look kind of silly, but it is there to help you avoid scraping the over 6 feet of truck on any low barriers.
From the side, there's very little to tell you that this is an electric F-150 Lightning, and it's one of the key USPs of this truck. It doesn't look any different, really, to a regular F-150. I say that, but the Lightning logo here on the side obviously gives the game away, as does the charge port door at the front that I'll come to in a second. This particular variant of the F150 is wearing 22-inch wheels. They are truly monstrous, and frankly, I'm not the only person who finds the 20-inch wheels more desirable. When this truck was delivered, the company that delivered it to us said, hey, the wheels have been a little bit damaged because people have been off-roading this truck. And if you do want to off-road the F150 Lightning, the Platinum is not the best variant to do that. I might actually advocate that you get an XLT or indeed a Pro. They have more rugged wheels that are smaller, but they also have much more rubber between the edge of the wheel and the road. All of the F150 Lightnings, except the very entry-level Pro models, get these fixed side steps from the factory. Ford did originally promise that the Platinum trim would have optional power boards that would come down when you opened the door and then fold back up. However, we don't think any of those have actually shipped. And the benefit to these sideboards is that they have integrated lights, which means that you can use Ford's zone lighting system to illuminate the whole area around the truck at nighttime. Higher end trim models, of course the Platinum is the top trim, gets this number pad which gives you the ability to have keyless entry. It's a really useful feature if your car or your truck is parked on the driveway and you need to get in to pick something up but you don't have your keys to hand. Unfortunately, Ford didn't include phone as a key as a standard fit feature when the F-150 Lightning was launched. That is due to come later this year in an over-the-air software update. On this trim level of the F-150 Lightning, you have cameras integrated into the mirror that form part of Ford's all-around camera vision, as well as this light module, which can function as part of the zone lighting system. And moving to the front, where you'd normally find the side-mounted badges on any F-150, is the charge port door. In this case, hiding behind a badge, which is mimicked on the other side, but the other side is just a fake charge inlet. You've got ability to use a standard household charging station. You can also use a DC fast charging station. In my experiences on the road with the slightly less fancy Lariat version of this truck, you can charge the extended range battery pack at 170 kilowatts from a compatible DC quick charge station, or if you have Ford's 80 amp Charge Station Pro, which is included for free with this particular trim level of the truck, you can charge up from empty to full overnight. We'll jump into the bed in a second, but first, let's look at the business end of the truck, i.e. the towing eye. This is a 2-inch receiver that, depending on which variant you buy, can tow anywhere up to 10,000 US pounds. The Platinum can't tow 10,000 pounds because it's got so much extra doodads up front that it does affect its ability to tow. But I towed 5,000 pounds recently with my Lariat and had no trouble whatsoever. You also get both the round and the blade connector, and of course you get all of the lights that integrate, that give you illumination at nighttime, both in the back of the cab to light the bed up, but also these at night. And if you drop the tailgate down, which on the Platinum is power lift and drop, you have these fancy reversing lights integrated here, so if you need to travel at night with your tailgate down, you are still road legal. I'm going to jump into the back in a second, but first a word from today's video sponsors, Unspun, whose jeans I happen to be wearing.
If you're like me and you are a bit differently shaped, you'll know the pain of trying to find clothes that fit, especially if you value your free time and hate shopping. But why spend hours at the shops when you can get clothes custom made and shipped to you that will fit you perfectly and last you longer than any other jeans you've owned? Enter Unspun. It's a US-based clothing company looking to revolutionize the way we think about the clothes we wear using the latest technology to make custom, sustainable jeans that fit so well they'll become your favorite go-to clothing choice in no time. Unspun's mobile app uses a built-in Face ID sensors of Apple's latest iPhones to create a detailed 3D scan of your body, which it then uses to craft a perfectly fitted pair of jeans to your chosen specifications. And if you happen to be within easy reach of one of Unspun's stores, well, you can just drop in to have one of Unspun's trained assistants help you get the custom fit you deserve. Pick the colour, the thread and the style you want, and Unspun does the rest. And because every pair of jeans are custom made, it eliminates the majority of wastage associated with garment manufacturing. Right now, Unspun still cuts parts from traditional bolts of fabric, using any offcuts to produce denim insulation for homes, but its ultimate goal is to produce custom woven jeans for each person. And unlike many brands out there, there are 0 sweatshops involved. When I was looking to buy my last pair of jeans, I couldn't find any on the rack that fitted me well, and I decided to give Unspun a go. I really loved that I could get measurements without leaving my home, and a few weeks later, I got what I can only describe as my best pair of jeans ever. Normally, Unspun jeans start from $200, but if you follow the link below and promise to give your feedback, you will get $40 off your first pair. So make sure you check them out, because I'm glad I did.
Here in the bed of the F150 Lightning, there's not a lot to differentiate the Pro version from this version, the Platinum, except a few things that I'll come to in a second. But first, the important specs. This is a 5.5-foot short bed, and if you drop the tailgate down, you can easily accommodate 8 foot of lumber. There are some tie downs on the actual tailgate to facilitate that, to make sure that everything is secure, but unlike a lot of pickups on the market, there's no option to extend the rear to hold wood in place, not like the Silverado, for example, which has a pop-up tailgate to make sure that your load doesn't slide out the back. What you do get in the F150 Lightning, though, is Ford's box link system, and all the trucks that I've seen delivered to date come with the box link system as standard, as well as lockable tie-downs that you slot into the box link receivers on the bed of the truck. Now, you can add a whole host of different things to the F150 Lightning. As some of you may have seen, TfL Truck installed a camper top to their F150 Lightning and drove it all the way to Alaska. In this particular variant, though, we've just got the luggage tie downs. Another thing that is not specific to the Platinum that you can spec with any F150 Lightning to date is this spray-in bed liner. It's done at the factory, and I have to admit, this is better quality than some of the spray-in bed liners I've seen from automakers in the past. You're always going to get a better finish if you get your bed liner sprayed in after you pick the truck up, but for one that's done by an OEM, this isn't half bad. I know that Kate has been hauling mulch in this for the last couple of days, and it looks pristine. The other thing that you do get in the Platinum variant that you don't get in the lower end variants is Ford's 9.6 kilowatt Pro power system as standard. That means you have access to 4 120 volt, 20 amp US domestic outlets in the bed, as well as one 30 amp, 240 volt outlet. That means it's possible to charge another EV on the road with that socket and Ford's included charge station connector set. Ford also includes a Tesla adapter in a cheeky marketing move. That means if you find a Tesla stranded at the side of the road, you too can offer them a charge with your mobile connector kit and the bed of your F-150 Lightning. On the inside of the tailgate, in all but the Pro trim level, you get 2 rulers. One is in inches and one is in centimeters. Metric for the win! You also have a place to store your pencils, your cups, and there's even a place to stand up a tablet or an iPad or an iPhone when you are on the road. And to get into the rear of the truck, well, on all variants apart from the Pro trim, you get this integrated step. It's really useful and it operates really simply. It slides in and out, and so does the step.
Inside this vehicle, it feels like no expense has been spared to let you know that no expense has been spared. There is, of course, the panoramic glass roof, which is a tilt and slide affair so that you can feel the wind in your hair. The optional seats in this vehicle, this one as standard comes with 10-way adjustment and massage, but this particular one has been fitted with the optional maximum recline package, allowing you to lie flat. So while you're waiting at a charger or while you're out camping, you can lie back and get a quick massage in. In the Lariat and in the Platinum, you get this 15-inch touchscreen in the center, which I am not a huge fan of, but is very functional. It does allow you to navigate Ford's system pretty easily, and the settings are clear, it's crisp and sharp. The knob for controlling the volume, though, it just feels like it's stuck on, which it is. In the lower trim variants, you get a 12-inch touchscreen in its place. That's horizontally oriented, and it does actually work a bit better for Android Auto or CarPlay, which don't really support this kind of vertical screen. That said, using them on this screen has been flawless. I haven't had any problems with connections. I haven't had any disconnections unexpectedly, so I'm really impressed with that. Up front here you do get this large and comfortable to hold steering wheel, which is adjustable in multiple directions. It has multiple memory settings that are tied with your seat position, and of course it features an array of buttons. These buttons control things including the volume and the Blue Cruise, which is standard on this trim level. What there aren't buttons for anywhere in this cabin is of course the climate control, which is again back on that center screen. Not my favourite way of controlling climate control, but hey, it seems to be the way things are going. Up ahead of me here is a 12-inch customizable driver's cluster. It is crisp and clear, and I really like the way they've presented the information. You do get one stalk here for controlling the wipers and the lights. Other than that, not much else going on around the steering wheel, but you really don't need it. As you would expect, all the windows along with that sunroof are electrically operated, and you have nice controls up here, unlike some other vehicles where they've cut down the number of controls and you have buttons to switch between the two. You get 4 for 1 for each window. You also have a little button up here to control the little tiny window at the back, at least in this trim level, and you have a cavernous void between the two seats in which you can store, I don't know, a raccoon if you have one handy. You get 2 little USBs up front and wireless charging, and of course this flip down gear lever, one of the truck's little party tricks. Once that's flat, you can fold this center console over to make a handy work table, or I guess a place for you to chill and prop your stuff while you're having a cocktail. Behind me, of course, the back row of seats is heated. It also folds up and provides some lockable storage, which is really useful. I know that Nikki and Michael made extensive use of that space at the back when they were on their long road trip. But you know, I think that's really enough. It's a very hot day. I think it might be time for me to say bye. I'll hand over to us at the rear.
So we've had a look around the F-150 Lightning. It's quite a big truck, Kate.
Yes, it may not be a Chrysler, but it is big as a whale.
Exactly. But, you know, 5.5 feet should be enough for most people who want to put bikes up the back, who want to carry things around occasionally. I know I've got a queen bed in there before, a queen bed frame. I've carried bales. I've carried all kinds of other things. It's not the ultimate work truck. It's definitely a work/leisure truck.
I think it's more of a leisure truck in which you can do work if you want to. You know,
But
900 pounds I put of bark chip in the back.
Yep.
Easy peasy.
It is larger than the Rivian R1T in terms of overall dimensions, but the Rivian R1T has that fancy tailgate that when you lift it down, it actually extends out. So the Rivian R1T has a longer tailgate than this truck. And they're pretty close in terms of what they can carry. The Rivian R1T has a slightly higher towing capacity in certain configurations, but the interior space is much smaller in the Rivian R1T. And of course, Ford gets bonus points for the Frunk not requiring you to lift stuff up, over and in. You just have to lift it up and in.
Yeah, and you do also have the capability to use all of the Ford accessories and all of those accessories that have been made for the F-150 for such a long time.
One thing that we haven't talked about yet, and I think we do need to talk about, is the battery capacities of these vehicles. It feels a better chance to talk about them for the walk around than it does for the drive. We'll talk about the range when we drive it, but 131 kilowatt hours for the Platinum is standard. That's the extended range battery pack. The other variants of the F-150, you can opt between an extended range or a standard range. The standard range is 98 kilowatt hours. Of course, with the Platinum and the extended range vehicles in general, they are all compatible with Ford's home integration system. They should all come from the factory, or at least the dealership, with home integration activation already ready to go. You can use the standard range trucks with that, but you have to pay to activate that system. And of course, with 131 kilowatt hours, your average home, according to Ford, should be able to run for 3 days. Now, I know my home power consumption touches 70 kilowatt hours most days, so I'm not going to be able to run it for more than about a day and a half. You could probably run yours for an entire week.
Yeah, probably longer than that, actually, depending on the time of year. But in the summer, when it's kind of temperate, if I don't use the air conditioning, yeah, easily a week.
And I think that's the killer feature for this truck. It's something that we don't really talk about a lot. But the killer feature of being able to run your house in a power cut makes this, I think, a better buy for a lot of people than, say, the Rivian or indeed the Tesla Cybertruck. We don't know yet exactly what the specs are for the Tesla Cybertruck. People are always asking us to compare this to the Tesla Cybertruck, and the reality is that we can't because we haven't got one.
No, a lot of people have this idea about what the specs are in their head because they've heard something, but Tesla haven't said. So at the moment, it is just, we know this, we know what it is, we can tell you what it is, but we can't compare them just yet. We will when we do.
Yeah, when we actually do get a chance to drive one. Elon, if you're watching this, please let us drive a Cybertruck at some point. We really want to compare it, and we want to be able to give that truck a fair comparison against this. I've driven the Rivian R1T. We've had a look around the R1T, so we've ticked that one off the list. We've seen the Silverado EV and had a look around that, although not driven it. And, of course, we've had lots of time with the F-150 Lightning. But enough talking about the interior and the features. Let's get ready for the drive review, which, if you are watching this video, may or may not be online. If you're watching this as it's launched, you've got a few days to wait before the drive review comes out. But, you know, if this video has been around for a week or so, you can go and watch the drive immediately following this. That's it for today. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and sharing it with your friends. And don't forget to leave your thoughts below or in our free to join Discord chat room. There's a link in the video description.
And thanks to Unspun for sponsoring today's video. Become a beta tester today at the link below to get $40 off the best pair of jeans you'll ever own.
If you really liked today's video, why not leave us a super thanks? It's easy to do, and everything you do send our way goes towards helping us make great content. If you haven't already, make sure you've subscribed to this channel and to our other channel, Transport Evolved Take 2, and give that bell a gentle ding to be told when our next video goes live. Thanks on behalf of the entire crew go out to everyone who makes this channel possible. That includes everyone who supports us on Patreon and YouTube, as well as those of you who just watch the video and share it.
If you're a supporter at the charged up level, you'll see your name right here on our right. And we're sorry if your name isn't showing. We currently render the list out every week or so, but sometimes our videos are produced a few weeks in advance. Thanks to our self-driving tier supporters, Chris Maxwell, Pedro Muro Pinheiro, Patrick Boyarski, Bennett Elder, Brian Newton, David Kitchen, Michael Goad, Ricky Leong, Andrew Martin, Guido Drahota, Brophy Wolf, Tesla in the Gong, Gordon C., Stephen O'Donoghue, Carl Hodgson, Anthony Coates, Raging Fellows, Dan Blair, Jim Burness, Chris Ascenta, Chris and Michael Johnson, Peter Dillinger, and Denny Hyde. And of course, out of this world thanks to our Starman supporters, Anonymous Freak, Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, Rory Litwin, Joe Bresney, Reed R, JP Fagerback, Russ, Will Graylan, Matthew Drobnak, Kevin Burrowbridge, John Lyons, Andrew Glenn, Paul Conway, Laura Reynolds, and there's someone else.
Ian. Want to be part of that amazing list? Well, you can join Patreon at the link below. You can hit the join button to support us on YouTube, or you can show us your support through Bitcoin, Ko-fi, buying something cool from our cool swag store, or in fact, coming along to Fully Charged Live if this goes out before then, where you will be able to buy some cool swag. And if this goes out after Fully Charged Live, it was great to see you. We'll maybe see you at a future event. And just know that if you can't support us in any other way, just watching the video, sharing it, and flying the pride flag makes all the difference to our content. Thanks for joining us, and as always, keep evolving.